Best friends are supposed to be your greatest allies, your support system, and the ones who celebrate your successes. But for Sophia, her best friend, Emma, became her greatest enemy. What started as an innocent friendship filled with laughter and trust quickly turned into a nightmare. Emma's jealousy, once subtle, began to grow as Sophia's life flourished. Her career, relationships, and happiness seemed to spark something dark in Emma. Little did Sophia know, the person she trusted the most was working behind the scenes to unravel her entire life. And by the time she realized it, the damage was already done. Sophia and Emma's friendship began as something pure, full of trust and shared dreams. But as Sophia's life flourished, Emma's hidden envy grew. Beneath the surface of their bond, jealousy was brewing, a force strong enough to shatter everything Sophia held dear. A friendship built on trust. Sophia and Emma's friendship started in the most innocent way, two young girls meeting on the first day of school. Sophia, shy and reserved, had struggled to fit in, but Emma's infectious energy and warm smile made her feel at ease. From that moment, they were inseparable. They shared everything, sleepovers, secrets, and dreams of their futures. While Emma was bold and outgoing, Sophia had a quiet determination that often inspired her. They complemented each other in a way that felt natural, as though they were two halves of the same coin. As they grew older, their friendship remained strong. They supported each other through heartbreaks, celebrated milestones, and made promises to always have each other's backs. Sophia couldn't imagine her life without Emma, and she believed Emma felt the same. But friendships, like all relationships, aren't immune to the complexities of human emotions. The beginning of the cracks. Things began to change after college. Sophia's career in marketing took off faster than anyone expected. She landed a job at a prestigious firm, where her creativity and work ethic quickly earned her recognition. Promotions came one after the other, and soon she was living the life she had always dreamed of, traveling for work, attending glamorous events, and making meaningful connections. Emma, on the other hand, was still searching for her place in the world. Her career path wasn't as clear, and though she tried different jobs, nothing seemed to stick. Sophia always encouraged her, reminding her of her potential and cheering her on during moments of self-doubt. But Emma's supportive words began to feel hollow. At first, it was subtle. Emma would make offhand comments about how lucky Sophia was, brushing off her hard work as if her success had been handed to her. She'd tease her about being a workaholic, or joke about how Sophia's schedule was too busy for real friends. Sophia laughed it off, assuming Emma was just adjusting to their new realities. After all, life was different now. They were no longer two girls with shared dreams. They were adults navigating careers and responsibilities, and Sophia thought it was natural for things to feel different. But Emma's remarks didn't stop. In fact, they became more pointed. A subtle shift in behavior. One evening, Sophia invited Emma to a dinner party she was hosting. It was a small gathering with a few colleagues and friends. Emma arrived late, and as soon as she walked in, she seemed uncomfortable. Sophia introduced her to everyone, proud to have her best friend by her side. But instead of engaging, Emma stayed on the sidelines, making little effort to connect. Later that night, after most of the guests had left, Emma pulled Sophia aside. "You've really changed," she said, her tone sharp. Sophia frowned. "What do you mean?" Emma shrugged, swirling her wine glass. "I don't know. You just seem different. Like you care more about impressing your work friends than staying true to who you are." The words stung. Sophia had always valued Emma's opinion, and hearing this felt like a betrayal. "That's not fair," Sophia said, trying to keep her voice steady. "You know how hard I've worked for this. I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just trying to make the most of the opportunities I've been given." Emma's response was a simple, cold laugh. "If you say so." A growing divide. From that moment, the cracks in their friendship began to widen. Emma started distancing herself, canceling plans and making excuses. When they did meet, her conversations were filled with passive-aggressive comments disguised as jokes. "Not all of us get invited to fancy galas," she'd say with a smirk. Or, "Some of us still have to work for a living." Sophia tried to ignore it, convincing herself that Emma was just going through a rough patch. She made an effort to include her, planning outings, checking in with her, and offering her support whenever she could. But Emma's behavior didn't improve. If anything, it became worse. One evening, Sophia overheard Emma talking to a mutual friend at a party. Sophia's life isn't as perfect as she makes it seem, Emma had said, her tone dripping with disdain. She's just good at pretending. Sophia froze. Hearing Emma's words felt like a punch to the gut. This was her best friend, the person she had trusted with her deepest fears and insecurities, spreading doubt about her to others. The beginning of the betrayal. Sophia confronted Emma the next day. "Why would you say those things about me?" she demanded, her voice shaking. Emma didn't deny it. Instead, she crossed her arms and said, "Maybe I'm tired of always being in your shadow. Do you know what it's like to watch your best friend succeed while you feel stuck?" Sophia was stunned. "I never wanted you to feel that way. I've always tried to support you." "Support me?" Emma scoffed. "You don't even see how easy everything is for you. Some of us don't get handed the perfect life on a silver platter." The words cut deep. Sophia realized then that Emma's jealousy had been simmering for years, hidden behind fake smiles and half-hearted encouragement. This wasn't the friendship Sophia had thought it was. It was something far more toxic. Sophia and Emma's friendship had always been a source of comfort and support. But as Sophia's career soared, subtle cracks began to form. Emma's envy, initially disguised as teasing, grew into something deeper and more hurtful. Sophia began noticing the changes in her best friend's behavior: passive-aggressive remarks, distance, and, eventually, outright disdain. The first signs of jealousy. Sophia had always believed Emma was happy for her. After all, they had celebrated every small success together since they were teenagers. But as Sophia's life changed, Emma's reactions began to shift. It started with small, almost unnoticeable things. Emma would roll her eyes when Sophia talked about a new project at work or respond with a flat, "That's nice," when Sophia shared exciting news. At first, Sophia brushed it off, thinking Emma might just be having a bad day. But these moments became more frequent. One evening, Sophia invited Emma to her apartment for dinner. She had just moved into a new place, a bright, spacious loft she had worked hard to afford. Emma walked in, her eyes scanning the room with a mix of curiosity and something else Sophia couldn't quite place. "Wow," Emma said, her tone clipped. "This is big." Sophia laughed nervously. "It's a bit much, I know, but it's close to work, and I got a good deal." Emma smirked. "Yeah, well, not everyone gets to live in their dream apartment straight out of college." The comment stung. Sophia tried to lighten the mood, offering Emma a glass of wine and changing the subject. But throughout the evening, Emma's remarks continued, little jabs disguised as jokes, each one cutting deeper than the last. The subtle undermining. As time went on, Emma's envy became harder to ignore. She started downplaying Sophia's achievements, often adding a dismissive remark whenever Sophia shared good news. "I got promoted," Sophia exclaimed one afternoon. Emma raised an eyebrow. "Already? I guess they must be desperate for new managers." Sophia laughed awkwardly, unsure how to respond. Emma's actions weren't limited to words. She began withdrawing from their friendship in subtle ways, canceling plans at the last minute, failing to return calls, and showing little interest in Sophia's life. Sophia tried to bridge the growing gap, but it felt like Emma was putting up a wall. One weekend, Sophia planned a small trip to celebrate her promotion and invited Emma along. She thought it would be a chance for them to reconnect. But Emma declined, saying she was too busy. Later, Sophia saw photos on social media of Emma at a party that same weekend. It hurt, but Sophia convinced herself that friendships go through rough patches. She's probably just going through something, she thought, giving Emma the benefit of the doubt. The turning point. The breaking point came during a mutual friend's wedding. Sophia and Emma were both bridesmaids, and the atmosphere should have been joyful. Instead, Emma seemed distant, barely acknowledging Sophia's presence. During the reception, Sophia overheard Emma talking to a group of guests. "Sophia acts like her life is perfect, but trust me, it's not," Emma said, her voice dripping with condescension. "She just knows how to put on a show." Sophia felt her stomach drop. The betrayal was overwhelming. This wasn't a passing comment. It was a deliberate attempt to tarnish her reputation in front of people who mattered to her. When Sophia confronted Emma later that evening, Emma didn't even try to deny it. "Why would you say those things about me?" Sophia demanded, her voice trembling with hurt. Emma shrugged. Because someone needs to knock you off your pedestal. Sophia stared at her, stunned. I thought we were friends. Maybe I'm tired of being in your shadow, Emma snapped. Do you know what it's like to watch you get everything while I'm stuck with nothing? The words felt like a slap. Sophia had always rooted for Emma, celebrated her wins, and supported her through tough times. To hear her best friend dismiss all of that as if it meant nothing was devastating. Sophia's realization. That night, Sophia went home and cried. She replayed Emma's words in her mind, wondering how their friendship had reached this point. She thought about all the time she had tried to include Emma, to lift her up, only to be met with jealousy and resentment. She realized that Emma's actions weren't about her success, they were about Emma's inability to deal with her own insecurities. But understanding that didn't make it hurt any less. Sophia knew she couldn't keep excusing Emma's behavior. A friendship built on jealousy and resentment wasn't a friendship at all. The aftermath. In the days that followed, Sophia distanced herself from Emma. It wasn't an easy decision. Letting go of someone who had been such a big part of her life felt like losing a piece of herself. But she knew it was the right choice. She focused on her career, her true friends, and her own happiness. Slowly, she began to heal. Sophia realized that sometimes, the people we care about most can hurt us the deepest. But those experiences also teach us about strength, boundaries, and the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who truly want the best for us. Sophia and Emma's once strong friendship began to unravel as Emma's jealousy grew. Subtle remarks turned into blatant attempts to undermine Sophia's happiness and success. The final straw came when Emma publicly humiliated Sophia at a mutual friend's wedding, admitting she felt overshadowed by her. Heartbroken, Sophia began to realize the depth of Emma's resentment and the damage it had caused their friendship. The betrayal unveiled. Sophia thought the incident at the wedding would mark the lowest point in their relationship, but she was wrong. What she discovered next revealed the full extent of Emma's betrayal. It started with a missing email. Sophia had been working on a project that could potentially land her the biggest promotion of her career. She'd been corresponding with an influential client, ensuring every detail was perfect. But just days before the project deadline, the client informed her that they had chosen to work with someone else. Confused, Sophia checked her sent folder, only to find that her most recent email, a crucial one outlining the project proposal, had never been delivered. Frustrated, she assumed it was a technical glitch and moved on, though the loss of the client weighed heavily on her. Weeks later, while sorting through old messages, Sophia noticed something odd. An unfamiliar email address had been copied on some of her correspondence with the client. It didn't take long for her to connect the dots. The email belonged to Emma. The shocking discovery. Sophia's hands trembled as she pieced it together. Emma must have intercepted her emails, either forwarding them to herself or deleting them before they reached the client. But why? Her heart sank as the answer became clear. Emma had deliberately sabotaged her. Sophia confronted Emma the next day, determined to get the truth. "You've been meddling with my work emails," Sophia said, holding back tears. "Why would you do that?" Emma's expression shifted from feigned innocence to defiance. "You think you're better than everyone else, don't you?" Emma snapped. "Always winning, always achieving. I just wanted you to see what it feels like to lose for once." Sophia was stunned. "Emma, I've never tried to compete with you. I've always supported you." Emma laughed bitterly. "Support? You mean like how you throw your success in my face every chance you get? You don't even realize how arrogant you sound when you talk about your promotions and your perfect life." Sophia shook her head. "I thought we were friends." Emma's response was cold. "Friends? You don't need friends, Sophia. You have your career and your shiny new life. That's all you care about." The breaking point. The confrontation marked the end of their friendship. For Sophia, it was the final betrayal. She had always believed in giving people second chances, but this was too much. Emma's actions had gone beyond hurtful words. They had sabotaged her professional reputation, something Sophia had worked tirelessly to build. Sophia blocked Emma on all social media platforms, deleted her number, and cut ties completely. It was a painful decision, but she knew she had no choice. The weeks that followed were difficult. Sophia found herself replaying every moment of their friendship, trying to understand how things had gone so wrong. She remembered their childhood laughter, their shared secrets, and their promises to always stand by each other. But those memories were now tainted by Emma's jealousy and betrayal. Picking up the pieces. Despite the emotional toll, Sophia refused to let Emma's actions define her. She threw herself into her work, determined to prove that one person's envy couldn't undo years of hard work and dedication. She reached out to her client, explaining the situation without naming Emma. To her relief, they were understanding and even offered her another opportunity to pitch her ideas. At the same time, Sophia leaned on her support system, friends and colleagues who truly cared about her. They reminded her of her worth and encouraged her to focus on the positive aspects of her life. Slowly, Sophia began to heal. A life lesson learned. Looking back, Sophia realized that Emma's jealousy wasn't a reflection of her own actions but of Emma's insecurities. It hurt to accept that someone she had trusted could harbor such resentment, but it also taught her an important lesson. Not everyone will celebrate your successes, even those closest to you. Sophia learned to set boundaries and surround herself with people who uplifted her instead of tearing her down. She discovered the importance of self-respect and the strength it takes to walk away from toxic relationships, no matter how long they've lasted. The turning point. Months later, Sophia received an email from Emma. It was short and apologetic, filled with excuses and a half-hearted attempt to reconnect. Sophia read it carefully, her emotions swirling as she weighed her response. In the end, she chose not to reply. Forgiveness, she realized, didn't have to mean reconciliation. Sophia had moved on. Her career was thriving again, and she had built a circle of friends who truly supported her. Emma's apology felt too little, too late. Sophia's discovery of Emma's sabotage was the ultimate betrayal. Emma had intercepted emails, spread rumors, and actively worked to undermine Sophia's success. When confronted, Emma admitted her actions, fueled by jealousy and resentment. Heartbroken, Sophia ended their friendship, cutting all ties with Emma and focusing on rebuilding her life. But even as Sophia tried to move forward, the emotional scars remained. Rebuilding from ruins. Sophia's decision to cut Emma out of her life wasn't easy. They had shared over a decade of memories, good and bad, and part of her still clung to the hope that Emma might change. But after everything Emma had done, Sophia knew there was no going back. She had to let go. The weeks following their fallout were a mix of relief and pain. Relief because the toxicity was gone, but pain because of the void Emma left behind. Sophia missed the person Emma used to be, the friend who had laughed with her, cried with her, and stood by her side through life's challenges. But that version of Emma no longer existed, replaced by someone consumed by envy. Sophia leaned heavily on her true friends during this time, those who had proven their loyalty and love. "You don't have to go through this alone," her friend Clara said one evening over coffee. "We're here for you." Their support became Sophia's lifeline. They listened without judgment, offered words of encouragement, and reminded her that she was more than the sum of Emma's betrayals. Learning to trust again. One of the hardest parts of moving on was learning to trust again. Emma's actions had left Sophia questioning everyone's intentions. At work, she became more guarded, careful about who she confided in. She double-checked her emails, triple-checked her projects, and hesitated before sharing anything personal. While this cautious approach protected her, it also made her feel isolated. One day, her manager, Mr. Bennett, noticed her hesitation during a team meeting. After the session, he pulled her aside. "Sophia, you're one of the most talented people on this team," he said. "But lately, you've been holding back. Is everything okay?" Sophia hesitated before nodding. "I'm fine, just trying to be more careful." He studied her for a moment before replying. "Careful is good, but don't let fear stop you from shining. You've earned your place here. Don't let anyone make you doubt that." His words stayed with her. Slowly, Sophia began to let her guard down, one small step at a time. Finding closure. Months passed, and Sophia's life began to stabilize. Her career was back on track, and she had built a stronger, more supportive network of friends. One afternoon, while organizing her desk, she came across an old photo of her and Emma. It was from their college days, taken during a road trip. They were both smiling, carefree, and full of dreams. The sight of the photo brought a lump to Sophia's throat. She realized she wasn't angry anymore. The pain had dulled, replaced by a bittersweet sadness. Sophia decided to write Emma a letter, not to rekindle their friendship, but to find closure for herself. Emma, I've spent months trying to understand what went wrong between us. I've been angry, hurt, and confused, but now I just feel sad. Sad for what we lost, and sad for the person you've become. I don't know if you'll ever understand how much your actions hurt me, but I want you to know that I forgive you, not for your sake, but for mine. Holding on to anger won't change the past, and I'm ready to move forward. I hope you find peace and happiness in your life. I truly do. Sophia, ***. Sophia never sent the letter. Instead, she folded it and placed it in her journal, feeling a sense of relief she hadn't felt in months. Writing it had been enough. A new chapter. With closure came clarity. Sophia realized that Emma's jealousy had never been about her. It had been about Emma's own insecurities. Sophia couldn't control how Emma felt or acted, but she could control how she responded. She began to focus on herself, setting new goals and exploring new opportunities. She joined a mentorship program at work, helping younger colleagues navigate their careers. Sharing her experiences reminded her of her own strength and resilience. Outside of work, Sophia started volunteering at a local women's shelter, offering career guidance to women trying to rebuild their lives. The connections she formed there were humbling and inspiring. One evening, as she walked home from the shelter, Sophia felt a sense of peace she hadn't felt in years. She had lost a friend, but she had gained something far more valuable, her sense of self-worth. A final encounter. One day, Sophia ran into Emma at a coffee shop. It was unexpected and awkward, their eyes meeting across the room. Emma approached hesitantly. Sophia, hi. Sophia nodded politely. Hi, Emma. There was an uncomfortable silence before Emma said, I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. Sophia studied her, searching for sincerity in her eyes. She could see the regret, but she also knew that forgiveness didn't mean reopening old wounds. Thank you, Sophia said simply. I hope you're doing well. Emma nodded, looking relieved, and walked away. As Sophia watched her leave, she felt no anger, no bitterness, just peace. She had finally let go. The end. Sometimes, the people we trust the most can hurt us the deepest. But those experiences, as painful as they are, can also teach us about strength, self-worth, and the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who truly care. Sophia's story wasn't just about betrayal, it was about resilience. About learning to rise above the pain and finding the courage to move forward. Because in the end, it's not the betrayal that defines you, it's how you choose to heal.